beautiful people watching. It is time for some girl chat. You ladies ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
First up, a lot of people are going into the winter super worried about a quote, twindemic of the flu and COVID-19. However, USA Today says that the flu cases in this country are actually at a record low. They say this could be contributed to factors like everyone wearing masks, social distancing, washing their hands, and wanting to get the flu vaccination more than ever. So a lot of people are surprised by these numbers and think that we could have lowered flu numbers in the past by doing exactly the things that we're doing now. We could have done that in the first place. So ladies, do these numbers surprise you? And just what are your thoughts on the possibility of keeping these measures in place from now on and just moving forward in life?
You know, I think it's really interesting that the flu is really down because I think, you know, like you said, we're wearing masks, we're socially distancing. Kids aren't in school. And let me tell you, those little kids are petri dishes of germs,
Yep.
you know? Whenever
Right.
the school season's in, everybody in the household is sick because, you know, they bring it home, they don't wash their hands as much. So I think we're doing different things. I feel like, I don't know if I want to do masks for the rest of our lives, but I think it's interesting that we are washing our hands. We're more careful. We're not bowling. We're not doing the things that we used to do. We're not hugging each other. That's another way of catching it. So I think all those things are great that we're keeping the flu down, but I really want to get COVID down. I'm more interested in that than anything else right now.
The flu has been around forever, so I would have expected for numbers to decrease in the flu. And if anything, the pandemic has taught us to be more conscientious of how easily an airborne germs can transfer. I know recently when I
That's
boarded
right.
a plane, everybody down the aisle was holding up the line because everybody was wiping down their seats. I've never seen that before, where everybody was taking the wand over it and the wipes. And I also see now a line in the men's bathroom coming out of the restroom because they actually wash their hands, and so they hold up the line. We've never seen a line in the men's restroom. What were they doing before?
Ever.
So I would hope that
Right.
best practices have been put into
Right.
place from this. I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
I just think, you know what? I never liked going to a meeting and someone hugs me. It's like, I don't know you that well anyway. And because it was a meeting, and if it's something where I'm trying to sell something, I will hug them back. But now I have an excuse. I really like this.
Finally,
You are
finally, Lottie has an excuse. You know what? Growing up for
I
me,
think-
though, I don't know culturally for you, Jeannie, but we would have to kiss everybody we came into the room in. Like growing up, if there
Absolutely.
were 10 people in the room, you had to kiss
Same.
every single person. And now I can't imagine
Wow.
if we did that now, or if I made my kids do that now. They'd be like,
Yes.
Mom, really? You know?
Yeah.
So a lot
Yeah.
of
I
things
think
are
there's
changing.
something really special about what COVID has taught us.
Yeah.
What is that, Munchkin?
I just think, you know, I would want to maintain this as a lifestyle. You know, like this, like social distancing.
How extreme?
You don't.
The mask?
I don't want to hang out with just anybody. Like I actually think, for me, this has been a life lesson. Like I'm not just hanging out with just anybody. Like I actually want to only be around a small circle of people who I've chosen
That's interesting.
to have you know, this space in my life where I trust them, they trust me. I have somewhat of a concept of what they do, where they go. Like, I'm totally okay with that. I think, you know, obviously Asian culture, people have been wearing masks forever, way before this pandemic
Yeah.
ever happened. Makeup artists that Jeannie has worked with, that I've worked with, that are Asian, have never done my makeup without wearing a mask because it's just too close to be
Right.
with somebody without
Right.
Changing.
Exactly. So they've
you
worn
know what?
masks. Not bringing your shoes into the house. After you walk around everywhere and then you're traipsing that through your house, your kids put their hands on the floor. When my sister had children, she brought this. You remember when you came to my sister's house? We took off our shoes because Jet was in a crawling phase of touching the floor. I
Right,
want to
that's
keep
smart.
and instill all of these measures.
I think
Forever.
that's just about hygiene.
for
What you're talking about is hygiene, but there are some things that I do miss. I do miss going to a
I wanna hang
concert.
out with
And if
people.
we all go to a
Yes.
concert, you're going to be with strangers. But that's I enjoy that. I miss,
too.
you know, doing my stand-up comedy. I just think it's about hygiene. I think a lot of people weren't washing
Can't
their
you wear a
hands.
mask?
A lot of
No,
people,
no. I think
weren't.
I think Adrian. Tell me if you're wrong.
think
I
you're
think she's
right.
talking about
Can't-
personal space for sure.
No,
I think that,
I'm saying like
guys, we've all
wear
been
a mask
to,
in the
except for Crystal,
concert
but
and
we've all,
have every other chair empty, or every other
But
2 or 3
specifically-
chairs empty.
specifically Adrian.
Space.
You and Israel are such generous hostess with the mostesses. You guys are the type to have people at your house. I mean, you've had friends of friends who've invited them. Their next friends to the house, and so now you're
Yeah,
being
yeah.
more cognizant of who specifically is
Yeah.
coming and who's your plus one. Because if I don't know them, they don't
Who's
gotta
gonna be in
house.
my home?
I get that.
Yeah.
It'll never be
Yes.
the same. It'll never be the
Yeah.
same for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're going to keep talking about this, but I think for the young people, they want to go out. They want to have concerts. So, again,
Yes.
I think we're all learning from this, and we'll see. We're going to keep learning from this. That's what it is. So,
Take your
up
shoes
next,
off in your house.
The
Take your shoes
latest
off,
season
please.
of The Bachelor premiered this month, and for the first time in the franchise's history, it's a brother. That's right. His name is Matt James, and he's handing out roses this season. And on a recent episode, he opened up to one of his girls about his religious background. Now, Matt, who grew up in the church, admitted that in every relationship he's had, he's never led with the fact that he's religious because he felt like it turns a lot of women off. He said people have a lot of preconceived notions when it comes to a man who's very religious. So, ladies, I'm curious if Matt's point of view surprises you. Do you think that that's true? Do you have preconceived notions if a man comes out and says he's super religious?
Sadly,
I
there
don't
are.
have preconceived notions, but I absolutely understand what he's talking about when somebody describes their faith as a big part of their life. And I also get the order that he said too. He said he doesn't lead with it because I think if the first thing somebody describes himself as is like, I'm a Christian, I for some reason assume that that's like a very heavy part of their life. That's a big staple in their life. Whereas if somebody kind of, maybe doesn't mention it or it's in the back end, you feel like they're not as religious. That's an assumption. But I know when I spoke of it, I got all types of reactions comparing me to what Christian really means. Like, so does that mean you drink? Do you swear? Does that mean you're not having sex on the first date? Does that mean you're not having sex at all? Like all these assumptions come because when you throw it out there, it leads to speculation. So I absolutely understand what he's saying. I'm not saying you should shy away from it. Like speak what you're proud of, speak what you're about, but it definitely comes with some assumptions.
Jeannie, do you think also it's different and specific for men? Like when men say it versus when women say it? I think there is this connotation, sadly, of that you're corny. That there's like this thing that like, he's like a church boy. He must be corny. Or furthermore, I'm even going to take it another step further. There has been this connotation of they're corny and not possibly experienced or good in bed. Like, he's
I think
just
that's
a
the
church
difference.
Wow,
boy.
you would really? You
In
would
the
relate
church
that?
world
Yes.
versus
Wow.
the
Yes,
secular world. I think the secular
You
world
don't
wouldn't find it
remember-
corny, but in the church world, if a guy leads with saying he's Christian, for sure it's like a poof, okay.
Does
sure.
anybody
Yeah.
remember when Megan Good got with Devon Franklin? Like people
Yes.
have these assumptions of like, how does Megan
she
Good,
should
like one of
dress.
the baddest of the baddest of
Right.
the baddest, get
Yeah.
bagged by a church guy? And let me tell you, do not underestimate the power of Jesus Christ. But let me tell you, I remember there was like dumb comments about like,
Yeah.
we don't know if he putting it down, like ignorant, wildly ignorant comments, and I hated the fact that
Yes.
she had to defend, like, excuse me, like, I've been with what was out in them streets, and I chose this man. There's a reason for that,
Right.
and I think we need to change up this misconception of bad boys are the ones that are good in bed. Let me share my testimony. I'm just kidding. These churchmen do not underestimate. Do not underestimate. They praise the Lord. Hallelujah.
But with that said,
Oh my God. Go ahead,
though, I
Lonnie.
think that he may not be sharing everything, which a lot of people feel like the minute you say religious, you mean celibate. That's and a lot of women
exactly.
don't say.
Or
I think-
And
straight
I don't
laced.
And
understand
everybody that
how
calls
he-
themselves a Christian ain't Christian.
Well,
No, that's true.
but I'm
But
trying
like-
to understand how he gonna get through this season of The Bachelor if he's not gonna have sex. Cause I don't know about
You know
that.
he is. I watched the first episode of The Bachelor, and he actually, at the cocktail hour, he actually said a prayer before. And some of the women were crying because they thought, oh my God, he's got a spiritual side. This made him more attractive. And then there were some other girls that gave him the side eye. So I think for me, I want a man of faith. But at the same time, I don't want a man of faith who's going to always lead with that. Like, you don't have to wear God on your sleeve for God to be in your heart. So not every sentence has to start off with something that's religious. And I think sometimes when people do that, you feel like, oh my God, is that all they're going to talk about? I know a friend of mine who, if she was sitting in a public place and somebody would, like she had an empty space next to her, somebody would come up and go, is anybody sitting there? And she goes, nobody but the Lord. And that would deter people from sitting next to her because they thought she was going to talk about the Lord the whole time. So
And I just want to
think
say,
you want a balance. You want a guy who's religious, but you also want a guy who's, not going to.
Well, it also
at
depends
every
on the
time.
faith too, Garcelle, because
What do you mean?
was many moons ago, because it's more than just the Christian religion. And I was dealing with a dude. He was in a different type of religion. It wasn't in Islam, so don't come at me. It was a whole different. It was something else with some dude, and he told
And
me
how
he
did you
thought this
feel?
dude, and I was like, I had to let him go. No, serious. He was like, it's kind of cultish.
Was he in a cult?
This type of religion.
Oh, gosh.
So, like, I'm telling you, find out. It's important
yeah.
when you dating. Find
I
out what
agree.
they
So
believe in
important.
and
I
who they
agree.
believe
Of
in.
course.
You know.
So I think we'd all agree that women are pretty phenomenal, but according to Women's Health magazine, we are not great at one thing, and that is friends with benefits. They said that while being friends with benefits may seem like a really good idea, it actually usually backfires on us because they
I
said
agree.
it's because of our hormones. Our hormones do us dirty, and we usually actually catch feelings. We ultimately end up dating the guy anyway. So, ladies, when it comes to women, do you think there's no such thing as no strings attached sex? Can women have friends with benefits? Are we good at it?
I don't think we're good at it. I don't think we're good at it because I feel like the minute if I sleep with someone, all of a sudden I'm already planning the wedding. I'm talking to my girlfriends. What are you gonna wear? I feel like there's we get attached. We get attached, and that's why I think you have to wait and really know the person before you have sex with them, because otherwise it's tough to just do it. And there's a hormone that oxytocin, I think, if I'm saying it right, that we release, that is released even when you hug someone for 20 seconds. That feeling, you get a feeling about it. So I think it makes it
chemical
hard
reaction.
for us to, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's hard for
But
us
it can
to
be
do.
done.
Really
I
believe
mean,
that.
these new girls
Oh,
nowadays,
Lonnie, are you talking from
they're
experience?
busy. Oh yeah, these new girls nowadays, they're they're busy. They got things to do, but they still need to get some, so they can get some, and then that's why you think it came up. At one point, they were going to the bathrooms and doing it, and then go about their whole life. I mean, so it can be done. It's just, I think it depends on where you are in your life and your mindset, but it can happen. I mean, where
I
did they
agree
get
with
it
Lonnie.
from?
It depends on the woman.
I
Right,
agree with
that's a good
Lonnie,
point.
and it's also because, and it's not right. It's not the best way to look at things. But what Lonnie is saying is so true, because for decades and centuries, men have been doing it. So now this girl powerness of doing your own thing and having your moments and homents, whatever it may be, you actually feel empowered if you can have a relation or a sexual relationship with somebody and not get strings attached. So it's actually a power move to women today. I'm not saying it's right, but like that's the way some women think, because it's the get back. There's songs about it now. Female hip hop artists are talking about it all the time.
They know their power.
Yeah.
We can't say it, but we
I don't
know
know.
Cardi B
Yes, we
song.
can. Is power.
You know you can't say that, Jeannie.
Well, I'm saying it because it is. It is that though.
It's the potato salad power.
Oh, you're stupid. Why's it got to be a potato salad? Can it be a?
Why not? Why not?
What are you doing, Adrian?
Why
are you
you
putting
touching
on
yourself?
I
some-
thought we were
right now.
stopping. This girl's over here saying the P word. I thought we were stopping and we're going to pick up at some point. I'm waiting for some
girl's not
direction
editing.
that we're picking up.
We are
Are
a
we picking
mess. A mess.
Oh.
T.I. and Tiny recently celebrated the birth of their first grandchild. I know what that feels like. They shared their joy on Instagram, saying they are completely in love with baby girl. However, someone who may be feeling a little different is T.I. and Tiny's daughter, Eris. T.I. shared an adorable video to Instagram of Eris on auntie duty saying, quote, "She already jealous. Take a look."
You gonna put the baby on the floor all the way over there, telling me she can sleep over here. She can sleep on the floor by you. Oh, over here? Right here, by the bed?
Well, she can sleep anywhere she wants. Like, she can sleep right here by her stuff. Like, whenever.
No, Iris.
She's so cute.
She really was thinking this through. She can
Yeah,
sleep
totally.
by
love
your...
Eris, man.
I'm
Eris
obsessed
is
with that
so
little girl.
smart, so adorable.
She's so
does
cute.
TikTok's better than anybody else. She's amazing.
She is amazing. So, ladies, I want to know, what would you say to a child who may be jealous of a new baby's arrival? I once heard a psychologist saying, bringing a new baby into the house, it's as if Israel brought home a new wife and everybody was fawning over her. Say, Shane, she's beautiful. Look at Adrian. What? Fawning
not
and
gonna
saying
make
how
it.
beautiful she is and how smart
I'm not
she's
gonna
gonna
make
be.
it.
Oh, no, not
Okay.
beautiful.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no.
Oh no.
Oh no!
So,
and the weird thing is,
I-
I have nothing to compare this to because I am the baby daughter, and there wasn't another child. Literally, there was not another baby in our family
Right.
until I was 18 years old. Shout out to my niece Deborah Joy, who was the next baby in our
Aw.
family when I was 18 years old. So I was like, thank God there's another baby at some point. But we've been having conversations with my niece Bo, who is the
Yeah.
current baby of the family. And she's just now understanding. She walks up to my mom and she'll be like, Lela, that's what she calls my mom. Where's your daughter? Where's your daughter? Asking about where's my sister. And my mom asked her the other day, which one? My eldest or my youngest? And she didn't understand the concept. We were explaining to her that I'm the baby daughter the way she's the baby daughter, and Claudette is the
Right.
eldest daughter the same way that Jet is. And she was like, yeah, but I get to be both because I'm the baby sister to Jet, but I'm gonna be your baby's big sister. And I was like,
Oh.
tear my heart out, why
That's
don't you?
so sweet.
So they're at an age where they're understanding, thank God.
And they say that's
Yeah.
what they say you should do with children. You should make them a part of the process.
Yes,
Exactly.
they're so
When the
excited.
baby is growing, so that they don't feel like, oh man, y'all was fawning over me, now y'all
Exactly.
fawning over the baby. But she
Yeah,
was in
exactly.
her daddy's arms and in her spot. So, you know, that I can understand. Auntie Harris, she got something going. She know what's going on. So she
Auntie
checked
Harris
everybody.
I
is
love that
not
she's an
playing.
aunt.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
don't you love it?
Auntie Harris is not playing whatsoever.